since 2024, average revenue from 2024 to July 2025 when we're recording is up 46%. And before we started, because I've got all those numbers, we were going through it, I'm like, what do you think your profit's up? He's like, I don't know, maybe 60%. I said, you're close, 277%. Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here with one of my favorite human beings in the world. This is Luke Tucker, one of our clients, and just a super, super cool guy. This gentleman, I'm going to use the term very loosely, started his company ProClean in 2010, Indianapolis, Indiana, mostly serving residential clients. He, since 2024, average revenue from 2024 to July 2025 when we're recording is up 46%. And before we started, because I've got all those numbers, we were going through it, I'm like, what do you think your profit's up? He's like, I don't know, maybe 60%. I said, you're close, 277%. So 277% increase in profit. Sad that I know his number, well, I was cheating because I had him in front of me, but still sad that Luke's like, I don't know, a little bit. I'm like, more than a little, buddy. So almost a 50% increase in revenue, which is fine, but no offense to the world, revenue is one thing. We want to be profitable, right? And almost a 300% increase in profit. Most importantly, went from 6 figures in revenue to 6 figures in profit. And most importantly, which we're going to talk a lot about, got his time and his life back, right? I always tell people, if I could help you make a bunch of money, but you're miserable and working all the time, have we really served you, right? Like we can, given enough time, ideally we'll all have more money, less money, things go up, things go down, but we will always be poor tomorrow than we were today when it comes to time. So getting that back is a gift. All right, Luke, I've got 1,000 questions for you, but before I jump into those, no, actually, I'm just going to jump in. We'll fill in the blanks, and at the end, I'll let you say anything you want to say. I always like starting with just give us the background, kind of how you started. Most of the time when people come to us, it's not because things are going great. Sometimes they're like, hey, I'm doing good. I want to go good faster. But the bulk of them are like, something's not right. And I'm hitting a wall somehow and I don't like it. So tell us kind of how you started and what made you reach out to us and go, I want something different.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got out of college, thought I was just going to go kill corporate America, got my business degree, had an art degree, absolutely loved working in digital art, and made a move to Indianapolis to be with my now wife, and took a job with one of the biggest print corporations in the world, and thought for sure I was just going to climb the corporate ladder and just kill it. And it took me about 6 months to realize I was not cut out for corporate America. I loved the job. I did not like the people. I just did not like what I was walking into every day. And I had the epiphany one day. There was a janitor, the dude that cleaned our bathrooms and swept the floors. He just had his headphones in. He always had a smile on his face and nobody was bugging him. He just came in, did his job, got paid and left. And I literally had the epiphany after talking with my then manager that I think I would literally rather go scrub toilets than stay here and grind this out. So I used all the resources, all my background in digital printing to start all of my marketing material, and then just started knocking on doors, handing business cards out to friends who all had a look of shock on their face that I was starting a cleaning business. So me and my brother, we hit the pavement and just started going. That was in 2010. I don't know, cruised through 5 years. Everything was good. Got to 10 years. Kind of realized at that point that we had plateaued, revenue wise, profitability wise. We were just grinding at that point, working really hard, but not really going anywhere. And, I don't know, didn't know how to ask for help, didn't know who to ask for help, but realized that we were stuck. We were just in a rut. And that inability to make a decision or not really know who to reach out to finally came to a head. And I got to the point where I was either going to sell the business or quit the business and just go do something else. And serendipitously found Mike and his team. And I told Mike, I was like, I'm either going to make this work or I'm going to quit. And we kind of put a plan together and started making changes. So
So what, I mean, well, first of all, how long were you stuck? And then second of all, you mentioned it came to a head. What happened in your world where you moved from just, I'm stuck and I'd like to be unstuck, to I'm either going to fix this or I'm going to shut it down or sell it or whatever. Like, I can't live like this.
yeah. So how long we were stuck or how long we had plateaued was maybe a couple of years. But what kind of finally came to a head was we just kept churning employees every day, turned into a 12-hour day just to keep the customers that we had happy. I would drop everything in my life and my family and just put my head down and keep working. And I think it was that time that I was working really hard, but not making any progress, that really the pot started to boil over. I couldn't work anymore. I didn't know what I needed to change. I didn't know who to ask for help. Tried mentors, tried men's groups, tried just sitting down with the smartest people I know and asking them what I need to do. And they're like, we don't own a cleaning business. We don't know how. We own a construction business, or we own a, XYZ business. So I think it was not just being in the rut and working really hard, but it was almost like digging a hole to try to get out of it. I just didn't want to do that anymore.
So last question here, and we'll move forward to the fun part. But a couple clarifying questions just for logistics. You'd mentioned, I know now you serve predominantly residential, but you saw a commercial guy. When you started, was it residential cleaning from the beginning? Okay.
Yep.
And you mentioned your brother, who I've not met. How and when did you guys part ways?
So pretty early on, I mean, we started a partnership, and I think we just realized that he didn't want to make this a full-time job. He still works for the company. He still does his own thing. But I decided that I was going to put 2 feet into the fire and not have a backup plan. And that was not what he wanted to do. He's still my best friend. I see him
That's great.
every other day. We talk all the time. And he still cleans, on occasion, if we have a big project or need help with something, he's great. But as far as a partnership or just where I saw the vision of the company going, we didn't see eye to eye on that kind of stuff.
Well, that's awesome that you were able to salvage both the relationship and the business. Often it's one or the other. So it's great that you were able to do both. So last question on the where you were, and then we're going to talk a lot about where you are and how you got there, because I think that's what people are interested in. But I really like setting the stage, because sometimes people hear these guests and they're like, they see the after and like, well, he's magic or he's different. And it's like, no, he had the same fears and just like I do. And, I try to talk about it as much as I can, but, the whole, 10-year overnight success kind of a thing. So when you decided you need to do something different, was it more the lack of time, more the lack of, like, I'm too busy or I'm not making enough money, or is it just like, I can't not grow? Like, what was the most frustrating for you personally?
I think the most frustrating thing personally was that I was wearing too many hats, and it was 10, 12, 15-hour days just to keep above water. And that you might be able to do that for a short amount of time. And when I was in my 20s, I could work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And when it was just even me and my brother, I mean, we stacked a lot of money, without having a legitimate, I don't say a legitimate business. I mean, it's a legitimate business, but with no other real responsibilities outside of just work and a wife. But I remember the day my eldest daughter was born, she came, I kissed the baby, kissed my wife, and I said, I got to go back to work.
Yep.
I got stuff to do. And it was a few years of that kind of stuff, realizing that this is not, whether you're making money or the business is growing, it's not the way I wanted to live my life.
And it's funny, I'm not saying this is right, but I am saying it's common for certainly younger business owners, me included, when I was young, and it sounds like you, where we're like, if I have to work a ton of crazy hours, but build some wealth and something I can point at, I'll do it.
Right.
Or maybe I don't make a ton of money, but at least I love the job and that it's not very, I'm free and I can try it. Like everything's great and I'll make a ton of money. Fine. But that combination of like, no, you got to work like a dog and get paid like a dog. You're like, I can't, that's just not, neither are great. Like we don't want to be poor, even if we have a good lifestyle, and we certainly want to work crazy, even if we make a lot of money. But when you get like both, I hate my business, but at least it doesn't pay well. It's like, gee, many it's just the 1-2 punch that'll kill you. Okay. So what got you over the hump to take action? And then what got you over the hump? Because there's a lot of people out there going, I'm scared, but it's, so there's obviously, well, I shouldn't say there's obviously fear, but yeah. How did you go from, I know I need to change and I've tried stuff to, I'm doing something different that worked, even if it was scary?
Yeah. So, I mean, we've all heard that, if you're the smartest guy in the room, get in a new room, that kind of thing. And I thought I had exhausted all of my personal connections to ask for help, all of the people that I reached out to or different, like mentors. It just wasn't the right fit. And I don't want to say it was like a last ditch effort or a Hail Mary or anything, but after I spoke with you initially, it just kind of made sense that this was the route that I needed to go. As far as the coaching program, it was scary. I mean, money investment, not knowing exactly what was going to happen. But I was to the point where we've got to start. We're either going to make a change or we're going to figure out how to dissolve this thing. And I recognized that even if this wasn't the right place for me to be, it was the right first step. And you've got to take a step somewhere on a journey of change.
I got to tell you, that's one of the things I love is I've always gotten it intuitively. And I think the people I am attracted to also get it, because nothing's guaranteed in life, like, including our next breath. Right. So anytime we're going to make a change, there's always some sort of risk and fear and all that, anything good, bad, or indifferent, like marriage, best thing that's ever happened to me, but it was a risk for sure. Right. And the story is still being told.
Yeah.
Who knows? So far, almost, what are we, 15 years in? So far, so good. But I'm the kind that's like, I'd rather go down swinging. So if I'm going to, I don't want to go down in a heap of whimpering and just let it fizzle. Like if I'm going to go down, like at least I tried everything. I left it all on the field, took every option, everything, even when it was scary. And when I died, it was like, did all I could do, as opposed to, so love that. All right. Go ahead.
It wasn't also me, it was the fact that I had a number of long-term employees who had worked really, really hard to get us where we were at. And the thought of just quitting, and leaving them without any sense of accomplishment, that didn't feel right either. So it wasn't all about me. It was about what was best for the people around me, not just my family, but also the wonderful team that I had at the time that was slogging it out right there with me. And we'd been in the trenches for a little bit of time. And I finally just told them, we're making some changes and we're going to figure this thing out. For all of us, for the better of all of us.
I think that's the worst part about it is it really kind of almost definitionally the rock in the hard place is I get in our minds, we go, I'm either going to fix this or shut it down. And then we talk about actually shutting it down. It's like, okay, you're going to walk away from 10 years. Like, I can't. You're just going to tell everyone to disband. You're like, I can't, So, and then you're like, okay, well then get back to work and make very little money and work too much. You're like, well, I can't do that. And it's just the worst because you can feel like I can't. And I want to encourage all of you guys and gals out there, certainly getting some help from someone that knows what the heck they're doing. Good idea. But just that, I got to try something, legal and ethical, moral, whatever it is, you pretty much guarantee if you keep doing what you're doing, or I'll make a small change, like that. Maybe if I just make this little tweak, it's like, it's probably not going to get big results. If you feel that you're in that spot of, I think it was the fake character Sherlock Holmes who said, when all the impossible options are out, it oftentimes just leaves the unrealistic, right? You're like, it's a weird thing, but if it's not impossible, then what stuff is unrealistic. So same thing with business. A lot of times we want really major change, but we don't want to do any major change. And then it's like, I like that you were just whatever. And, I'm glad that we connected, but I feel like you were at a point where you're like, I just got to do something different, even if it's radical. Like, God willing, had we not connected, you would have found the next thing and the next thing and the next, and maybe it would have been 3 things later, maybe the next thing. But you were just like, I can't shut it down. I can't live like this. And it sucks that we as business owners kind of allow ourselves to get to that state before we make a change. But it's just way too often the reality, right? So, all right, let's talk about what big changes did you make? What were the big things you were afraid of that let's walk when you came in, because I wish it was like, oh, once you do the coaching, all the fee that whatever you pay or whatever, it's like hard part's over, it's all gonna be better. It's like, oh no, you just paid the hard part for the privilege to do more hard things.
It's like the entry fee to like a triathlon or something. It's like okay, you're pot committed.
You're in now.
Yeah.
And you're like, so now you guys will just do everything and my life will be magically better. It's like, oh, no. We just have you do much harder things than you were doing before. You'll get some goddamn results. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to get preachy, but yeah, walk us through what kind of the changes that you made and how you felt about them and all that.
Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Yeah. So, I mean, change is, I'm not change averse by any means. If you weigh the pros and cons, I will almost try anything twice. You know what I mean? But I got into the program.
How long ago did we meet? I should know this, but I don't.
I don't know.
In year and a half, 2 years?
Probably, 18 months, maybe.
Okay. So about halfway through last year.
No. I don't know, Mike.
Either way. All right. So whenever this happened,
right?
I don't remember you were right. So Luke and I met some time ago.
Yeah. It was in the fall, or it was in the spring of 23, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Walk us through.
So, I mean, it started the program. Initially, it just felt like I have had no idea what I'm doing. There's so many changes that need to be made. Where do you even start? And then very quickly, we had a call with the mindset coach, Suzanne. Love Suzanne. And I think that is one of the biggest changes that has happened for me personally, is just a mindset change, or many mindset changes about how to look at problems and how to look at the solutions. Because initially, I mean, there's a lot of homework to do. There's a lot of prep work before you can even start making some changes sometimes,
Like what sort of prep work?
Just getting numbers figured out. We had been doing the best we could with what we had, but it's like, how do you make an educated decision on any part of your business if you don't have solid numbers? So we had a bunch of accounting issues. I think our accountant died. Like, he just dropped off the face of the earth, and we had to rebuild our books from scratch. A number of things like that just felt insurmountable at the time. But now it's just like we just said, it's like, when was that? I don't even know. Don't worry about it. we've moved past that.
So when you came in, you were overwhelmed. What helped you to get through that overwhelm and just kind of do what needed to be done and like, I don't say break through to the other side, but kind of put your head down and do it?
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things was, you know, the realization that I couldn't do all the things the business needed me to do if I was still cleaning houses and offices and all of these things for 10 hours a day. So one of the first things that we really had to get nailed down was a hiring funnel and finding not just the next set of capable hands to come in, because we had done that. You know, we had burned through lots of A cleaners and F, you know, teammates, but we needed to, you know, really turn that around. So when we slowly but surely got the right people, you know, in place to lighten the load a little bit on just the workload, it was like my brain could function better. You know, I just had more time to think about the changes that needed to be made in the business. And a lot of that was not just the tactical part of finding people, but the mindset part of there are definitely good people out there, even though we've burned through a million bad people. That doesn't mean.
Let's dive into that a little. So very common, because I'm just hearing this journey that I've heard lots and lots of times. So I want to kind of double click into the parts I think are global. You said a couple things. One was, because I think a lot of the people that we help know how to get out of cleaning for a season. Like I've been out for a week or a month, but typically no more than 3 months. Or if they do, they're like one person or two people that did it. And as long as they stay, but then when they don't stay. So it sounds like you were in that boat and they have a belief that they've burned through everybody. And I guess the question I'm asking is, how did you shift that? You know, this may sound familiar, listeners. No one in my area wants to work. It's too competitive. Everyone's lazy. No one has a car. No one speaks English. Like they all want 40 hours a week. There's all these things that we tell ourselves. It's kind of chicken and the egg. And that's what I'm asking. For you, was it more, or maybe it was equal, but I'm guessing it was some combination of a hiring system where it was, you had an automated thing that wasn't miserable. You're like, hey, good people are coming in, you know, more in a higher level than I needed. And then the other part was some sort of belief that I can do this and it will work. So what was the big, because that's where people stumble. What piece of that you can share with the listener that's feeling, I hate my hiring system. No one wants to work. Like, how did you, and I know you probably made that shift over a month or two with a lot of support, and we're going to try and distill it down into 30 seconds, but do your best.
No, I think it's just like, you know, you get a little bit of momentum when you get one good person and you're like, okay, there.
And was that first good one because of the funnel itself? Like you hadn't changed your beliefs yet, or just like, all right, I have a mechanism to get people and it worked. You're like, holy crap. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah. So it was, the hiring funnel, you know, the group interviews were a game changer because I'd bend over backwards to go meet 10 people a week, you know, at 10 different times and all these things. And it was a real pain in the butt. But the first time, you know, we had group interviews, I think at least one of those people that came to the first group interview is still with us. She just passed over a year. Connie is great. Like, so it was that the mindset shift of nobody wants to work and everybody sucks and all these different things to, well, there's one, there must be more. So I think that just a little bit of positive momentum was a huge driver, you know, just for getting some positive feedback and encouragement that this can work and we're doing the right thing.
Okay. So for you, it was a little bit of, you got some results and that helped you change your beliefs. And then and then it became and then you probably got a second and a third. And you're like, okay, so that was that. All right. So I'm hearing you say when you first came in, it was a little overwhelming and you had to get ready, i.e. my financials are a mess. And it's so funny. We used to, poor Luke, we now do those for people because we found that overwhelm sideline people and we got lazy. Like, we need your goddamn financials. So sorry, you should have came in more recently. We would have done all that for you, but part of the everyone else, all of our current clients are standing on your shoulders, Luke, because of your pain and suffering. We went, maybe we should do this for our clients that are freaking out. So you kind of had to get ready, but you were coachable through that. You trusted enough system, because you trusted the system enough to get a hire. That got you, because I'm hearing you say first it was overwhelm, and then once you kind of got through that and got maybe some of your financials ready and some of your basic systems, it was going from trying to be an owner while you're cleaning toilets, and it's like that mindset just is hard to do. And then when you were able to get out of cleaning and get some space, what was A, is that a right projection or progression, and B, what was the next step after that kind of moved you forward?
Yeah, so it's like not being able to see the forest through the trees, right? You're so bogged down with the next little fire to put out. And when we started getting the right people in place to eliminate the fires that are happening, one, and two, giving me some time to really take the overview or overlook at what needed to happen. Gosh, what was the next step after that? It was probably starting to work through, what customers really aren't serving us, aren't necessarily, profitable, or we're spending, 80% of our time trying to make them happy versus just finding the right, customers. And that has just been a game changer too. Like matching our company core values to the team and matching that with nice people in our area that just want help and are communicative and just nice people. Like I've been able to surround myself with a wonderful team and wonderful customers who really see the value in all that hard work that we've done to have the right people in place to come and service their home.
So let me sum up what I think I've heard from your journey. You can affirm or deny, and then I'm just going to leave it open to you to end the podcast with just whatever you think in a minute or two you can give the most value to our listeners, who are probably many of which are where you were and want to be where you are. So what I'm hearing you say is when you came in, it was kind of first just getting your financials together and understanding what that looked like. And then it was really, it sounds like you raised your standards 3 times. Like your standard for the clarity you had around your business from a financial standpoint was the first to get raised. And then the standard of what you would tolerate for a cleaner got raised. And again, the systems and processes hopefully allowed you to raise them. It's not like you were just putting up with stuff, but you didn't know how to do anything else. So if you can't get a good cleaner, you lower your standards. Once you learn how to get a good cleaner, now you're like, oh, we won't tolerate that. And then that led to you raising your standard for your clients and who you would engage with, as opposed to just anyone that had money. Like, no, they have to be someone that we enjoy working with and appreciates us. And not that everybody's perfect, but you just had a standard for customers. And probably when you knew how to get your finances together, you're like, cool, I raised the standard there. When you know how to consistently get good employees, you can raise your standard there. And then the last thing was you learned how to get good customers so you could raise your standard, because this isn't the only bit I'm going to go on this month. So if I say no thank you, or if a customer's being a pain, I'm like, why don't we just part friends? Like, it'll be fine. Is that a fair overview?
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Well, I love that. Doesn't always happen in that order, but that's a very common, those are kind of 3 levers that typically need to get pulled for people to get their time and money freedom that you've got. So yeah, I'm going to leave it open to you for if you could speak to another Luke out there that's where you were, 3 months to 3 years ago. We haven't been able to hone in on that. What would you say to young Luke who's afraid, who feels like he's tried everything, who has a bunch of beliefs that aren't serving him, and he's or she's ready to shut down the business if he or she can't get it fixed? Like,
well, I would say, when I was in my 20s, probably you too, whatever, your first business, you think you're the smartest guy in the room. I can figure this out. No big deal. I don't need anybody's help. All I got to do is put my head down and work hard. All of those things I think are true to an extent. But most people can't do big things without the right people beside them and around them. And I used to think, company culture and core value. I always thought that was just hippy dippy. Like, no, you just got to work hard and the money will come, the business will grow. And I think the mindset change of, you know, being able to ask for help and not feel guilty or insignificant in any way about that has really helped me over the last year and a half, whatever it's been, to really level up my standards and put into focus where I should be spending my time and where I want to be spending my time. And I think a lot of that boils down to really looking inward and thinking about who you are and what you want, and not what the business world says you should do, or, you know, whatever that keeping up with the Joneses is thing. It's like, I will take my freedom and my choices over almost anything, anytime. And once I got clear on that, and had a path to, like you said, level up in those 3 different areas, it just all became so much clearer. And when you have the time to sit and think about those things, it just becomes more clear over time.
So funny. It sounds, I'm hearing 2 things in your summary. One, you just kind of got around the right people. You got clear on what you wanted and said, what do I need to do to get that result, as opposed to just keep banging my head against a different wall. Or the same wall. Let me go find if I can find different people that have got some other ideas. And then ultimately the 4th level up you did was you, or the 4th standard that you increased was for your own self. And it's funny, like, well, how did you change your mindset about believing no one wants to work to believing it? Well, someone worked for me. And how did you change your standard of what you'll accept from the business? You're like, I got some goddamn wins from the business. I got some early wins and I saw I could do it. So it's almost like, certainly you needed some systems and processes, but just the belief of like, I can have time and money freedom. I can enjoy my, employees don't have to be necessary evil. They could be people I enjoy doing life with. Customers I could say yes and no to. So it sounds like the last level up was the last standard that got raised was a combination of all 3 in your own requirements for what you would tolerate from your business and your life and what you won't. And the cool thing about that is if and when you start another business or do your next thing, your standards will, even if you don't have some of the systems will go, but not everything, but your standard will be the same. You'll be like, I don't have to live like that. I can do something better. Am I putting words in your mouth, or am I?
No, 100%. You start looking at where you can make changes, in other aspects of your life that even though you're seeing wins in your business or, maybe on your personal life, it's like those things all work together. They all, there's a balance there. So I think you're exactly right that if I were to start another business, I would start it dramatically different from how I started this business, with the clarity that I have now about standards and processes and how important numbers really are and all of those things together. So
I love that. Thank you so much for taking some time, Luke, because again, there's things you're going to be able to say in a way that will hit people and they're like, got it, that I can say over and over and it wouldn't make sense. So thank you for giving back some of what you've got. Clean Nation, if you are out there and you are in the kind of before picture and just not getting the life that you want, do something different, right? This isn't a pitch for me. This is a pitch for making a change and raising your standard and go, I won't live like this. So if it's getting some help from us, from someone different, whatever you've got to do, I just want to encourage you. Bad news is it's probably not going to be an easy fix if you've got a real big problem. Good news is the fix might be harder than you think it is, but from my experience, the gift when you do get it fixed, that's also much, much better than you think. So my 2 cents would be, don't, go down swinging, right? If you're going to go down, at least try something new. Don't go down doing the same thing that doesn't work. Try something different. Feel free to reach out. We're happy to support. Thanks for your time and attention. We'll talk soon.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.